fast and easy DIY frames. So these frames are great for beginners, and there's also some options for more advanced woodworkers. So this is a simple approach, very DIY beginner friendly, minimal tools. You don't need all the fancy gadgets and gizmos. I will talk about some ideas to scale up, with glass and hardwoods and some other options if interested, but primarily just some unique, very beginner friendly options. If you want to use the timestamps to skip on around, you can use those down below. Simple DIY frames. Here we go. All right, let's talk wood. Obviously lots of options. Wood shop, I love working with all the beautiful hardwoods, and that is a great option. A lot of these frames are actually old cedar fence boards. And so this one right here and here, you can see how you just take old fence boards, been sitting out for 10, 15, 20 years, just throw them through the planer, resurface, a really cool rustic look. So we'll explore that. This one over here, this one here, this is some vertical grain fir. I think it's a beautiful wood. These are soft woods, but really easy to work with. You can find these really accessible. Or another softwood, some nice clear cedar. I think those softwoods look really nice. And for this frame, really if it's beginner friendly, those are readily available. You can find those minimal tools, even if you don't have a thickness planer like you're about to see for the old fence boards. You could sand it down and still have a cool rustic effect, and it's still a basic. Now obviously the hardwoods are beautiful, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But we have lots of different species. I've done projects where I laminate multiple pieces together, so like curly maple and this African wenge wood together. You get a really chunky frame and all kinds of different ones. And so this video primarily is going to talk about the easy DIY ones, but I will mention a little bit more about the hardwoods. If you're interested in the hardwoods, I have a video on where to find these hardwoods a little bit more. You can see more of that on my channel. But for the purpose of this video, making it DIY friendly, we're going to explore more of these softwoods and reclaimed materials. So let's jump in and resurface some of that reclaimed material. So a thickness planer or a thicknesser like this makes real quick work of it. All of that rough, aged, weathered wood comes off, and you just see that really cool color underneath. It actually adds a lot more complexity. It looks really good. Again, you could use a sander. A belt sander would make quick work of this. It really depends on how rustic you want, but a thickness planer like this is really handy for so many woodworking operations, but that is an idea. So these cedar panels, what I did is when we replaced our fence, I went ahead and just stored them outside. I built this little thing outside. Now, obviously, if this wood is soaking wet, you want it to be relatively dry, but storing stuff like this is great for a lot of projects. Again, you can go with rustic. I have made these frames just unplaned, unsanded, but sanded is a cool look too. Okay, so you have your wood, whether you've resurfaced old rustic stuff or you just find something like this. Once you cut it to size and do your measurements, really this video, it's all about these pocket holes, these angled pocket holes. We will talk about the backer and some other options with that in a second. If you're unfamiliar with pocket holes, it is a great DIY friendly thing. And really about 7-8 years ago, that's where I started with this Craig jig, this pocket hole jig. The idea is you take your wood, you clamp it in, and then you drill at an angle. When you drill at an angle, if I just took this wood, obviously this is wider, I wouldn't want to put a screw that long, but when I screw in at the angle, or the angle into the wood, it's just a firmer hold. Now, obviously, it's not going to replace traditional joinery, but for this kind of project, it's perfect. I have even used it on furniture. A lot of organization, all of the shop organization. Got lots of videos on that. I use this all the time. Building beds, all kinds of things. Great tool to have. And really quick, just want to show you how easy it is to use. So this right here is when my son was 9. He's been actually using this tool since he was about 3. So super easy, but here are all the things you can do. Planter boxes, storage. This is great for cabinets. Here's one of those planning boxes. There's a whole video on how I made these beds, used these a ton. Desks, tables, shop organization is great for plywood. Made these built-ins using the pocket hole jig, made a desk. That's actually reclaimed cedar there. Here, another standing desk. This was a really cool cart I made for the garage, right? A flip-top cart, got a whole video on that. Pocket holes everywhere, so some ideas. So if you don't have one yet, this is a very affordable tool. Now this one right here is a small one. You'll see this one in the video. Just take it on the end, you clamp it. This is Armor Tool. I don't even know if they sell this anymore because they got bought out by another company. But one of the main companies that's been doing it for a while is Craig. They have a lot of different versions of this. I've used this a ton. So I can check out these ones or the links down below. But a pocket hole jig is going to be awesome for this project, but also planners. I've done a bunch of outdoor planner projects, workbenches, furniture galore. Really, really versatile tool and great for beginners and DIYers. So definitely check out the pocket hole jig. So for tools, you're going to need the pocket hole jig and a drill, and then a saw. Now, you don't have to use a table saw. I will be using the table saw because I have it. You could do this with just a chop saw, a circular saw, a jigsaw, just to cut straight. Because again, this kind of, I guess it's shaker style, correct me if I'm wrong. It's just really, really basic. There's not a lot going on there. Now, we could add in other tools like a router for a roundover and doing some other edge profiles. For the basics, you need a drill, a pocket hole jig, and then some kind of way to cut your wood, and then you're good to go. Really, that's it. So let's jump in and actually assemble these and show some more of the process. So here I am using the table saw to do some rip cuts just to clean off that edge because I went with that kind of, that natural color underneath. I didn't want the weathered look on these particular frames. If you don't have a table saw, you could certainly use a sander just to get it to what you want it to look like. But when you're done, you're left with those really clean pieces, great color, especially with finish. But these little strips, I recommend saving them. I've used these in a lot of different projects, like these cool mountain art pieces. We use a blowtorch, and then we add some other little pieces. So some really cool, of course, yes, I have a video on this, but fun applications with the weathered wood. All right, for the frames itself, once you have your wood, really kind of think about the look. Now, we're not doing miters at all. The whole point of this video, it's simple. So pay attention. I got knots on this one. This is kind of clear, vertical grain. Kind of think of your orientation. Then obviously, you're going to take some measurements, right? So what's the width? What's the length? Again, the point of this video is to show how you can do it without worrying about 45-degree miters and all of that. I just love sketching things out all the time. Now, obviously, it depends on your artwork, but do some double checking, right? Measure a couple times, sketch it out. Even, that's pretty bad sketching, but you get the idea. Graph paper is your friend. I definitely use graph paper a lot more. And then you just want to double check those numbers. Okay, so I went for my frame about 3 inches. So I cut my pieces, my fence pickets, after surfacing down to 3 inches instead of, the 3.5 about where they started. It is important if you want it to look pretty clean to make sure you have uniform width. And then I determined that the height of my picture I wanted to show was 13 inches, plus 3 inches on the top, 3 inches on the bottom. Oh, okay, so that's going to be a 19-inch tall frame. So it's pretty simple math. Just do this is basic math. The point of this is not complicated math, but definitely sketch it out. If my artwork that I want to show is 10 inches wide, now obviously the painting or the whole thing is a little bit wider, but the part that I want to show is 10 inches wide, I'd add the 3 and 3. So do some measurements, sketch it out, draw it out, and then cut it to size. Now I am using the table saw for crosscuts. You don't have to use a table saw, it's just a versatile tool, but pay attention on the far there, you see the fence? I do have a little piece right there. That's so it doesn't ride against the fence. If you ride on the fence with crosscuts, you're gonna have a kickback, it's really dangerous. So if you use the table saw for crosscuts, pay attention to that. So here's that smaller armor tool jig. Again, I don't know if they even make this one anymore, but on this one, you can just adjust it to see the thickness of the material. If you're using the Craig jig, the other one, you would just measure and then just adjust it because obviously the different thickness, different angle, you would also adjust this stop collet on the drill just to make sure it has the right height. So you're going to do that with whatever tool you use. On this one, just flip it over, stick it on the end. It's got a little magnet there, and I can take this face clamp, just clamp it down. There's lots of other ways to do it, but there are some small handheld jigs like this. I do recommend one of those bigger ones if you're going to be doing any amount of projects. It's really handy. But here's the idea, right? You just drill it in. That's it. And so it's going to automatically adjust for the thickness of your material, and then you're going to use the corresponding screw. And so all of these kits, it has the information for you. But great applications. All right, so now you're just mass producing. Just, again, figure out where you want the screws to go in. You don't have to do it on both pieces, just on one. It makes sense. All right, sanding. I recommend sanding like this. Take all your pieces with uniform thickness and clamp them together. And then when you sand the tops and bottoms, you're gonna get uniform. This is just some dish cabinet little anti-skid stuff. But then you can get nice and clear sanding lines, and it's uniform thickness. All right, so for putting it together, clamps, that same face clamp works really well. You don't even have to have clamps go in the opposite direction, and then you just add your screws. And really, there's no glue here. It's just the screws, especially for a frame that's sitting on the wall. No glue is necessary. Even for my big cabinet builds and other things, I don't always use glue with the screws. So options galore. But here, we're just putting it together. It's that simple. It really is so simple. And that's the point of this type of project, where you can knock them out really quick. Basic, really basic, but then you add some finish. You can add some profiles. So you could take this to a router table or use a handheld router. A nice round over on the inside is going to look really nice, or a round over on the outside. You can do a cove bit, lots of different router profiles. Not as intimidating as it looks. If you wanted to do a rabbet, which is a type of cut, R-A-B-B-E-T, on the back, you could do it for a little recess. I've done that with other ones, but again, we're trying to keep it basic. Sand it down. Here I'm just adding some finish. So this is just some shellac, lots of finish options, but it just brings out all that weathered, natural, this is 15 years fence material, kind of cool age effect. All right, now we're taking a look at the art itself. So measuring again, where do I want that art? I know that my art piece, it extends a little bit longer. So, maybe it's showing 10 inches, but again, take your art piece, slide it under, get a feel for how wide you want. And what I'm using is just some cheap underlayment, 1/4 inch material. If you don't have a table saw, you can have them cut this at your home center in the pieces and the sizes you want. They can do some extra cuts for you. And so this is just a nice backer. Now again, you could cut a recess in the back of your wood, but on this one, I actually leave it proud on the back. It's only about 1/4 inch. Now this is a really important step. I'm using an acid-free tape, and I'm only putting one piece of tape at the top. So I take out my art, add a piece of tape at the top, I kind of line it up, and now I'm using a staple gun, and I'm only stapling at the top, not at the very bottom. Now wood moves, paper is wood. So if it's too tight, then humidity changes, your paper is going to crinkle up, it's going to look really nasty. So you really need to make sure you don't have too much pressure. It's just kind of snug, but it's not a permanent hold. So leaving that bottom open allows for some expansion with humidity changes. So that one consideration, if you have a lot of humidity changes where you're at, then you do want to seal it, with glass or plexiglass, and do the rabbet on the back end so it's not even attached, so it's kind of floating. But for me, even in Washington with all our weather, this works really well. Just a minor crinkling if I get it too tight. But clean look. Here you can really see right next to a weathered fence what that weathered wood looked like after resurfacing, some vertical grain, fur, some cool looks, some cool effects. So that's the really basic version. Now you could get really fancy. Here is some cherry. You can see there's a rabbet on there. I can do roundovers. I can cut miters. I can add glue. I can do a miter clamp. I could add splines. I could go even fancier and cut the glass and put it inside. Here are some of those frames with the cherry. I'm adding a spray lacquer. I love using spray lacquer. You just build up really light coats, and then about 5 to 7 light coats, and then just some light scuffing with a paper bag, a grocery bag, and that'll just make it silky smooth. I made these for my parents about 4 or 5 years ago. Cherry is a beautiful wood. It's warmed up over time. It's a nice rich brown, chocolatey. No, it's a beautiful color. Anyway, you can get really fancy with these, lots more, but the point of this video was the basic one. Okay, you get the idea. I'm spraying the paint. It's awesome. Cutting the glass for the insert is not as hard as it looks. You can just get some at your home center, add the glass in, you add it. You can even add matting, some other tools that I'll link down below that I use to do the mats, some other cool effects, but some beautiful art with some real hardwoods. All right, so this is another option. Now don't pay attention to my mask with the little things hanging by the saw blade. Dangerous, don't do that. But using a little crosscut sled, I'm cutting some half laps. So I'm just measuring the thickness, using a little rabbeting plane to clean it up in there. And these just notch in really nice. I've done these a ton. I really love this look. This is that vertical grain fur. I have a lot of old content on Instagram with these years ago, but here again, just the top is got the tape, so the top kind of stays in place, and then I'm adding some staples at the top. Here you can see it. This is in one of my old classrooms. Some of the art for these big posters. There's that weathered wood, the same here. This is not cleaned up. This is just that rustic wood. But lots of options, lots of possibilities. All right, there you have it. Simple, fast, very DIY, beginner friendly. If you're interested in more videos like this, this added value, please consider subscribing. Got a lot of woodworking tutorials, all kinds of different projects using hardwoods, using basic materials, reclaimed wood like this. Lots of builds in that regard. Also just some cool crafts and other projects with other tools, just a lot of tutorial-like videos, some really cool stuff. So consider subscribing, check out those other videos. If you're interested in a more complex frame, if you would want me to make a video, if there's enough interest, then I'll definitely add that to my video queue and my project queue, really doing the tutorial with, all the different edge profiles, different hardwoods, glass inserts, the whole thing, making jigs for it. So let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in that, and I'll add that to my queue. Thank you for watching. Links to any of this stuff down below. And until next time, take care.